Okay, boys and girls, as promised, this is one of probably about three videos before I shut it all down. And that's only because we had started this stuff and you guys deserve to get to see the final outcome of it. I want to clarify a few things real quick. As you guys can very well tell, the overall response on the announcement I made and the reasonings why. And we didn't even touch base on all the reasons. But I did ruffle some feathers. And, good. I don't know what to tell everybody. I mean, if you're going to turn a blind eye to what's really going on and act like it, what I said does not exist and everything, well, that's fine. That everything is opinions. My opinion, your opinion, they're all like assholes. Everybody has one. And it's just what you guys commented on reiterated what I was talking about. Now, I'm not singling any one particular person out. I'm not, diminishing anybody's success that they've had here on YouTube as far as what's in the actual model car community, etc. I've got a lot of friends that have a lot of channels, and I hold my friendships dearly. And if that's not any indication the way I was standing up for Jay, then I don't know what is. And I would do that for any one of my friends, whether I've only known them for a short period of time or I've known them for a lifetime. That means nothing. A friend is a friend. And friends come before YouTube, and all the drama that is wrapped up in that. So everybody can feel how they want. And that's the great thing about it. But again, I'm not singling any one person out. I'm talking about as a whole. If you don't think there's bias and there's not little cliques that only let certain people in and be part of, you're insane. Now, because you don't get invited into those, is that bullying? No, it's not bullying at all. It's just that's a group of people and they want like-minded people in those groups, and that's fine. But we can't sit back as a community and look up the definition of a community and not so much boast all the time, but a little bragging here and there about how this, that, and the other. And no, we don't. How many modelers have we lost in the past 5 years? I'll give you a big name. Terry. Everybody jumped in on a group build for Terry. Everybody's posting videos, and it's people knew him. Okay. Where I got upset about was the fact that I know Jay, and there's a lot of people that know Jay. And he happened to be, on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And I'm not for sure. See, I don't pay attention to a lot of the little things, and that's just something I've done all my life. I do pay attention to detail, and I should pay attention to little things because that follows in suit. But I'm human. I make mistakes just like anybody else. And it was either his wife or his daughter had commented on that video and was very appreciative of me doing a tribute build for him. Now, I said in the beginning, when I made the first post about his passing, I didn't expect anybody to host a tribute build or anything like that. That's not what I was upset about. What I was upset about is that there is more than just me here on YouTube that is a modeler that knows Jay and is aware of his work. And even if you weren't close personal friends, it's still, our responsibility as a community to lift people, support people, help them however we can, mourn the passing of a friend, a fellow modeler. The community is like one big club. But it's not. Our big community is divided into these little cliques of who has the most sponsors, who, and let's clarify, because that was down in my comments by somebody I hold as a friend, that I once had a sponsor. Yes, I once had 3 sponsorships. I didn't get paid by those sponsors, so that is irrelevant to what I'm talking about. Did I receive merchandise, modeling things? Yes. I also bought a lot from my sponsor, and my sponsor actually turned out to be one of my good friends that I still talk to from time to time. I have no ill will towards him. It was a business arrangement, and my end didn't hold up to the bargain. So, I'm not knocking somebody for having sponsors. That's, you hear me talk about it. I'm looking for new sponsors, because as a modeler and being here on YouTube, that helps me put out content. Now, I can be like the zillion other channels there are. I don't have a problem with that. If just working with what I have and not worrying about sponsors, that's fine. But it's also nice to know that, because me as not sponsored and just being on Instagram, I see all these guys talking about, oh, hell, they got this and this from so-and-so. I would have never known about the location of said items if it wasn't for people that didn't have a little sponsorship, or wasn't sponsored for one video or maybe for a year or two. That helps everything flow around in the modeling community. And I'm saying community as the whole group. It doesn't matter what kind of model you build, but it's products. This is what we buy to do what we do. And sometimes you may catch wind of it or be on the internet looking and come across it yourself, and that's great. But it's other people that create the content that bring it to your attention. So I hope that clarifies that end of it. I'm not mad about people being sponsored or anything else. What I'm mad about is that, and it's not all model creators, because I don't know all of them. There's people all over this globe that are in this modeling community, and I don't know them. They don't know me. I don't expect them to jump on and say, oh, God, we lost a great guy today in the community. No, because they don't even know Jay. I'm talking about certain ones that I do know, that do know him, or know of his work, that couldn't take just a few seconds out of their day, make a quick, sweet, to the point video, that. That is because only so many people watch my video, and those people may not watch that person's video. But that spreads the word around, and maybe more people, oh, I didn't know, I wasn't aware, and they get on and make a video. Now, I'm not damning you for not doing it, but I see it being done for all these other people that were beloved in our community. I'm not knocking any of that. I'm just saying that I find it highly odd that I'm the only one, and I'm nobody in the grand scheme of things. I'm not a Blue Ox, model shop. I'm not a Lucas C. I'm not, Matthew at Model Car Videos. I'm not in those ranks. But I do enjoy each one of those persons' content. There's something that they do that I enjoy, and I'll watch, and I'll continue to watch. But it's organizing these little groups, and I'll touch base, and this will probably piss people off again, but I don't care, because I'm astonished how it's gotten. And yeah, this may not be the platform for me, but it is, because it's for anybody, and it's for everybody that wants to do it. You don't get to dictate who is entitled enough or good enough to be on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. This is a place where we come to show what we do. And hopefully along the way, something that I do sparks interest in somebody that's never built a model and wants to start doing it. Or somebody that is doing it says, oh, wow, I never knew I could do it that way. Or, they learn something new. I learn something new every time I turn on a video and watch them. And the other thing, Mr. Jason, I'll say it again, I put it in my comments. Brother, I watch almost every single one of your videos. I have from the beginning, as soon as we first started communicating via Instagram and traded shop cards, I've watched your videos. I've had to go back and get caught up because there's so many to watch. But as I've said a million times, I watch most of my videos on my TV. It does not allow me to leave comments. And I'm not going to sit there and stare at a little 3-inch by 5-inch screen trying to read it, because I have to have these just be able to freaking see so I can leave you a comment every single time. As I don't expect that. I do push on my videos for people to flood my comments, yes. I don't expect it. I ask for it. And I know in return that I'm not going to get what I'm asking for. I'm not a naive little 16-year-old running around thinking, oh, now I'm on YouTube. I'm YouTube famous. Well, I'm not. I never expected to be. I got on here and wanted to build my channel just off that, not being monetized. Try to minimize the sponsorships. You get too many, then it gets to be crazy. Having select ones, it can be helpful to you as a modeler, especially if you're, like me, balling on a budget, which has been our theme the whole time. And I knew that taking on a sponsor probably wasn't going to work when my main theme was balling on a budget. Showing people ways of modeling on this level for, pennies on the dollar, and not having to go to the big, chain stores or the big online stores or anything else. But save your money for those items, because, those people need our business. That's what keeps the great products coming to our hobby. And have I lost sight along the way? Probably. I mean, I could say that. But over the past 2.5 years, my life has got so crazy busy, and now it's just starting to fizzle down to where I can actually, start focusing and doing some plans for in here and on here to have the not the final nail in the coffin, but just to be kicked like that emotionally by people I consider friends, and that I am aware that they know Jay, or at least know of his work, not to mention it at least once. And that, that said, well, okay, what if I freaking kicked a bucket tomorrow? Is anybody going to say anything about me? And was I not worthy enough for a 5-second mention? Why? We can talk about all these other channels day in and day out and on podcasts. Which, that'll be the subject here at the end of this video. We're going to discuss shortly and briefly. I have no issues with anybody doing podcasts. Now, a lot of podcasts get twisted and it becomes all about, one thing or another, and not really kind of dipping your fingers in all the pots, and exclusive to, of course, who they choose to bring on. And a modeler is a modeler. I don't care what your experience level is, or your skill set, or how well you build. You're a modeler. If you went out and spent your money and bought a basic tool set and a basic paint set, some paintbrushes, and all this other crap that we all, throw down your throats every time we pop a video on, and you take the time out of your day when you could be doing something else, and you sit down and you try to build a model, you're a modeler. Now, how far you go with it and what you do with it, that's on you. I've been doing this for 53 years. On and off, not, balls to the wall constantly. I think I have, if we want to start counting, I have probably about 200 models under my belt that I've built. Whether it's somebody else, models I've had that's gotten destroyed and thrown away, models that I've given away, models I still have here, models I built for friends and just gave it to them. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. Especially if you look at some of these channels, these guys pump out models like they're in an assembly line. And kudos to them. I'd love to be able to do that. I don't have the time for it. And, if you come onto YouTube and your main goal is to get enough subs, become monetized, start drawing some kind of an income off of it, kudos to you. That's awesome. Because very few people get to do that, no matter what kind of content you're putting out. But when it comes to model cars, a hunk of plastic that you get in a box, and, we get on here and I don't know. I may be guilty of some things in the past as far as, what I've talked about or whatever, and try to get people to buy things. That's where I kind of realized, hey, I'm falling in line with all these things, kind of things that I don't like that much. Have I bought merchandise off other YouTubers? Yeah. I sure have. Vice Grip Garage. Derek is huge. Would I like to meet him? Yeah, because he does things that I'm very interested in. And I find it very humorous and enjoyable. And if I can support somebody, once or twice maybe in my lifetime, whatever it is, sure. Because he's bringing something that I enjoy. And I may not be bringing things that everybody enjoys. Okay, that's cool. That's why YouTube is so great, because you have the option to turn me off and go to something else. But here's where I thought the community was excellent. I still think it's pretty good. I don't think the modeling community is just a shithole. It does have a lot of bad. It does have good. And I've always said that. But there's a lot that I just kind of kept my mouth shut about, and I didn't say nothing. I didn't want to ruffle feathers. And what? At the end of the day, I don't know any of y'all. May have had phone calls with you. I've exchanged emails. I may have met you in person, but I don't truly know you. But if I've sparked some kind of a friendship with you, or we communicate, let's say more than once a year, I hold you as a friend. I don't. Now, let's move on to the next guy we can get on here, and let's see what we can milk out of them, or what we can get, and all the stuff we can get. Look, guys, you see that? I'm not bragging. 90% of that, not even 90%, let's go 97% of that, I've bought. My own money. All those tires and wheel sets you see there, yeah, those were given to me by a good personal friend, Ryan Jones, that did sponsor the channel. And I messed that up because I didn't communicate with him. But in the same thing, I wasn't worried about that communication, because I was more worried about a family member. The true life, the things that go on in our lives that we really focus on and worry and care about on a day-to-day basis. So when that came, anything to do with modeling was irrelevant, wasn't important. So yeah, I messed that up in a way, and that's okay. I don't care who you get as a sponsorship. I've never seen a modeler carry a sponsor from the beginning of his career on YouTube to the end of his career, unless he was only on there for a couple years. Everybody moves on, and bigger and better. Hopefully, if that's your end game. My end game was to get the word out enough about balling on a budget, spark interest in what I do, build the channel, get more people involved, maybe get some youth in here and start showing them the basics, and maybe finding a type of model they like to build, whether it be a Gundam or military or, cars, trucks, semis, any kind of model. The little game, what do you call it? The gaming community, where they build all these tabletop miniatures. I don't care what kind. It's all modeling. But I felt like I had a lot of knowledge that I could pass on and share. And yeah, you take some of this to heart. You get 2 responses on a video, and you're like, well, okay. And the algorithms, yeah. If you're going to be on here and you're going to make videos, you got to pay attention to the algorithms of YouTube, because it's showing you where you lack and where you're really, really good at, and what's okay. And my biggest beef was I took the time to make a video. Take the time to watch the video. And now I know a lot of my true followers do. I'm not knocking any of them. But that may be 4 or 5 people. It may be 10 people. I don't know. But when I see the algorithm, which, you should really just ignore that crap. But it's kind of hard not to. Because you're looking as a creator to find ways to improve your channel, make it more popular, that more people will want to watch. Not for anything in return other than that. But you see your time durations of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Like I said, I think I've had a couple of videos that the average was like 14 minutes. I think the video might have been like 20 minutes long. So, that makes you, okay, well, I got to shorten my videos down to keep the attention span shorter. But then, like, one comment was in mind that, you spend the first 10 or 15 minutes talking about your sponsors and products that you got, and you have 5 minutes to show what you've accomplished or you're working on. And most people are interested in what you're working on versus what you're trying to get people to buy or what you got. I've learned that the hard way, like a lot of people need to, because if all the sponsors went away, a lot of channels would fizzle out after a certain amount of time, because they don't keep the person's interest long enough. And mine is one of them. See, I made the bold decision to end my channel before my channel just ended. Because I said it, you go back and look at other videos where I was talking about this. You'll see where I was mentioning, hey, if I can't get this turned around, it's just not worth it. And it is, guys, at the end, because all the time that I spend, whether it's an hour making a video, an hour and a half, 2-hour video, or a 10-minute video, you double that in time, triple that in time to edit it, and then put it out, and you hope that people appreciate it. Doesn't mean they're going to. I don't expect anything. I can ask for all I want. It's like being a kid. I want. And expectations, you might get one thing, if you're lucky. So no, I don't expect nothing. And yes, I've been sponsored. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Do I try to get sponsors? Yes. Only because I ball on a budget. I don't work. I'm disabled, guys. I don't have that income as if I was a young man out working. So I have to protect my future, my wife's future. I have to have the availability, if my child needs help, to financially help my child or a grandchild. I can't say, oh, I got 15 extra bucks. I can go buy somebody's whole stash. I can't do that. But I shouldn't be shunned or looked down upon because I can't do that, or because I don't have sponsors, or I can't be on a certain person's podcast because I'm not popular enough. When this is how bold I'll be. Any one of my show builds that I've built, I'll put it up against anybody's stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's better. But you know what? See all those trophies? Now you have the ribbons out. That's an answer to my questions. Am I good enough? Have I ever won a big contest like Acme? No. Do I want to? Yeah, well, yeah. I'd love to. But it's never going to happen. See, you can want all you want. You can't expect shit. Because that's what you're going to get. And all these people out here, I'm never going to name names, that think because you have X amount of sponsors and you're on a podcast and you are all sponsored by the same people and the same products, whether it's 3D printed or it's model kits or it's paints or it's airbrushes. Be proud that you got that. But don't be so damn proud that you're not willing to help the lesser that's trying to be like you, because that makes you bad. Our hobby is to help everybody learn by tips and tricks, certain products to use, what works the best. That's knowledge. That's knowledge we pass down. And you can't get on your channel and boast about you get this and you get that and you got all this and look, and then you don't do nothing with it. There comes a part or a point of time in your life as a modeler, because everybody gets older day by day. You can only do so much. I've thinned this herd twice. Once I've talked about, another time that I haven't. And yeah, I went crazy like a lot of people do. Buy. I gotta have this, and I'll trade this for that and this. And I still have over 300 models, and I still buy because it's fun. I enjoy that. I'm not knocking anybody for doing that. But I build mine. And if you're a collector, boast that you're a collector. Don't boast that you're going to build them. I'm going to build this on my channel. Everything that's ever come to me, and we'll get into details here and call out names. Mark from Hobby Nut Model. Everything that man has sent me, other than, let's see, 1, 2, I want to make sure I get this right. I think, and I'm going to round it up a little higher because I definitely could be wrong. I think I have about 3 to 5 models left that Hobby Nut Models sent to me as part of my sponsorship that I've not built. One I have started, which is the Aqua Rod van race team. I have started it, but it's not finished yet. But that's on my shelf of things to finish. I've gotten 2 model kits. One from Marcy and one from... oh, God. Sorry, brother, I can't remember your name. I got so much going through my head right now. And then Mr. Jimmy Ledford has sent me a few kits for one of the dioramas. I intend to build everything somebody's ever sent me. Not just throw it up on my shelf or give it away down the road or, blah, blah, blah. I've had a few people, email me and ask me if I wanted to trade for this, that, and the other. And if I've said no, it's because it was something that was either given to me or is for a specific purpose. If it's not for any of that, I'm willing to sell whatever and trade for whatever. I've always been open to that. I've been open every video, damn near I've said, you guys point out something if you see it in the background, you want to see me get it out and open it up. If you've been thinking about that kit, I'll open it up. and show you every bit of it and tell if I have ideas for the kit, what my ideas are and what I think about the kit before you spend your hard-earned money on it. I don't. One time I've gotten feedback on that. So it's like everything I do is just not relevant. It's not what people want to see, and okay, that's fine. I get that. But when it comes to somebody passing away, and we've all been aware of this gentleman, especially the close-knit guys and girls that I know, and some of them may not know him, like maybe I think they do, they may not, that's fine. But that's why we say something about it, to make others aware that we lost a fellow modeler. This life was important. What he did and what he built was important. But instead, I get a lot of negative comments down there. Peace out. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And oh, you're so wrong. And you once got sponsorship. Yeah, I did. I did get sponsors. But I didn't walk around skipping and whistling Dixie because I had a sponsor. And I didn't let it swell my head. Guys, we got to get back to the basics. And let's say 45 and above, we're getting older. We're only going to be here so long. And we never know when our ticket's getting punched. And if you've got a wealth of knowledge, or you think you have a wealth of knowledge, share it. Don't put a price tag on it. Share it. And if you know somebody, hey man, interview them. Put them on your channel. That gets them to be a little bit more popular. It makes them feel good about themselves. It makes them want to get deeper into the hobby. And later down the road, pass what they've learned down to the next group of people. You hear people talking all the time, well, our hobby's dying because 3D printing is never going to go nowhere. I've made videos way back when. 3D printing is going to take over the modeling industry. And it has to a degree. There's 3D printed produced kits put out now. Big modeling companies are using 3D technology to clean up parts and put new parts in. Now, the parts are styrene, but they're using the 3D printed stuff to make their molds or whatever, however they're doing it. But I've seen videos on it, so you can't tell me they're not. And now I'm seeing videos of people talking about how 3D's now the new revolution of modeling. I said that a couple years ago. Doesn't mean I want credit for all of it. I'm just saying that people are realizing some things that I've said and other people have said. It's coming to a head. It's in our face now. Every company is improving on their products to evolve with the modeling community. And we don't just move ahead and leave everybody else behind. We take everybody with us. That's being a humanitarian and being a good person. I've opened my shop. I've made the announcement probably, I don't know how many times. If somebody knows, leave it down in the comments. If you're in my area and you got a model and you don't have any place to work on it, you can't work on it at home, come to my shop. I got plenty of space for you. I'll make space for you. You're welcome to every one of my paints, paintbrushes, tools, decals, tires and wheel sets that I have to use on your model. Now I'll tell you what, if you're broke and you can't afford one but you want to do it, hey, I got over 300 model cars sitting on my shelf. I'll help you pick one out to get started on. I've made that, and I've got no bites out of that. No interest. So, I kind of hit a wall on everything I try to do. So, forgive me if I get frustrated, because I'm human, and I get aggravated and upset because something that should happen didn't happen. That's my apology. I'm not apologizing to any one particular person. I may have ruffled their feathers. You got a problem with it? Hey, I live in northern Kentucky. Come on down. We can walk right out back here and we can hash it out. I like to verbally hash it out first. But, if you're so offended by what I've said and you want to take it a step further, come on. I got something for you. But guys, open your eyes, open your ears. There's people out there that want to build model cars that are scared because they see us. I'm going to include myself because, like I said, I may have made mistakes. They see that and they're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Then they're not going to pay attention to me. They're not going to listen to me. They're not going to answer my questions. They're not going to help me. I see it a zillion times on Instagram and Facebook. Hey guys, I probably got a stupid question, but hey, there is no stupid questions. There's only stupid answers. You ask questions. That's how you figure stuff out. That's how you learn. Whether it's a model car or you're in school or in life, at work. Hey, I don't know how to reword this. You get that help to help you reword it, because that's what makes you better at what you're doing. We've all had help along the way. Somebody has inspired us or took us underneath their wing and helped us develop into a better person, a modeler, artist, whatever it is. But somewhere along the line here, since I've come onto YouTube, we've lost that. I've even seen people make videos of how they couldn't find a certain part. Okay? Figure, hey, this is my way to pay it forward. I got a few friends. I know people that do things. Let's see what I can do. And sure as shit, a friend of mine was able to make a certain part, a certain object, item. I needed one. I know this person was looking one, couldn't find one. Well, they already finished a certain build. So, maybe down the future they'll want to revisit with a different build. This will be a good way for me to just pay it forward, be nice, new person into the community, newer, and my way to say thank you for being a modeler, a gift, and it wasn't good enough because it would interfere with somebody's sponsorships. There was no strings attached to the gift. It was just an item. I was just being nice and paying it forward. Sorry it wasn't good enough for you. It didn't come from your sponsor. I had sponsors. I had people send me stuff all the time. Didn't interfere with my sponsorships. Now, if I was a big company and I was sending you stuff, then yeah, that might interfere. Your sponsors might get mad at that. But a singletary little item, no. But whatever. I've got that item to use for however I want, and anybody else I see is looking for that particular item, I have it now, and I can let them know I have it. But it's just that kind of stuff, guys. We should be open to everything. Because if we're looking for certain things and we can't find them, and we don't want to ask our sponsors to make certain things for us, that's what your sponsor's for. If you're doing a certain build and you're using their products, but you need a specific thing, and that person makes specific things, they should make that specific thing for you. You know how I know that? Because Ryan Jones did that. He knew what type of cars I built, and that stuff wasn't available out there. So he would design it and make it for me. That's why I brought him with me when I came to YouTube. Did he have some popularity? Oh yeah, he did. On Instagram, he sure did. I think on Facebook too. And yeah, did I help him? I hope I did. Did he help me? Absolutely. And we're still friends. Regardless of my communication end or his communication, it doesn't matter. He's still a friend. Mark at HobbyNut Models is still a friend. Because you know what? One day I may need something. I can get on Mark's website and look and see. Oh, Mark has it. And I buy it. That helps Mark out. It helps me out. The rocky world goes round and round. Okay, it's enough about that. This is one of, but I hope that clarifies. So let me know down in the comments if it does clarify. I mean, it may not. It may make things worse. I truthfully really don't care. But on to what we're talking about here. I've ranted enough about it. It's actually making me physically sick. the more I think about it. And was I wrong for doing it? I don't like double thinking stuff. And because I get so many great comments, it's like, oh, I'm so torn. But no, I got to shut it down. This part, shut it down. And that's what we're going to segue into here in just a minute. This is going to be quick. If you guys go back through my videos, you'll see like some past builds. I broke this out one time and showed you it was a botched paint job. The whole build went south after that. I just stopped. I put it away before I messed anything else up and got madder at it and threw it away type thing. So since Ring Brothers it's been put on hold again, yay. But there's so much more detail now I'm aware of, and I can't just let it lie. I got to put that detail in there. So I hope you understand on that. And I will revisit with a video or 2 or 3, whatever it takes, when we get back on it, just so you guys get to see it, because I know there's a lot of great response out there on it, and a lot of people liked it. I do a lot of replica builds. I do a lot of commission builds, and I do a lot of what I consider high-end, which is pro touring, not a wannabe pro touring. I don't call something a pro touring if it's not pro touring. But there's categories for that. It's resto mod, half resto mod, half pro touring. Somebody's graduating from a resto mod into pro touring, or the pro touring is getting turned into a pro mod, or vice versa. You know, there's a lot of ways to mix it around, but I call them what they are, and that's where my wheelhouse is. I love the pro touring. I love pro mods. I love pro stock. I love pro street. I love hot rods. You know, so this is the Chip Foose kit, the 1965 Chevy Impala. This is, well, I built this one first, and then the other one I built stock for my aunt. That would be number 2. This is a great kit. This one in particular, the chassis was warped. And I've showed you guys how you can remedy that, but you have to be very careful when you do it if you're using a heat gun. The hot water method works too, but I find that using the heat gun, as long as you're not using a big whomping heat gun. I mean, I use this little, right there's the name of it. You guys can look it up. I got it on, what do you call it? Amazon. 300 watt hot air gun. It's, you know, it's little. It's got 2 settings, low and high. This thing works great. I've had it for a couple years now. When I get a warped chassis, the way I do it, I only do it after I get tires and wheels on it. You don't want that 3-wheel motion or 2-wheel motion and it's teetering. The way you do that is get all 4 tires on it, set the way they're supposed to be, or where you need them if you're modifying. And then you start heating the chassis. And you add a little weight. When you see that chassis start to, you'll see it start to move. You got to pay attention. You let off the heat. Take the weight off of it. Let it cool down. Flex it a little bit. Set it back down and see where you're at. Put your weight on there. Add a little more heat. You just keep working with it till you get it right where it's all 4 wheels are touching. Then you stop. Leave your weight on there. Let it cool. Take your weight off. Check it. Then put it back together or fit it to the body and see what you got. So this project was originally is a pro touring design in my head that I got when I was at Hobby Lobby. And I started putting 2 and 2 together. I'm like, oh, wow. You know, I got super inspired. So I bought the kit and I bought the other thing. And the other thing was a die cast. Maisto, whatever they're called, M-A-I-S-T-O. Die cast kits that give you they're 2-in-1. They give you all the different tires and wheels. It's 1/25th scale. The model's 1/25th scale. You can interchange parts from the 2. Most of it's really toyish looking. But every once in a while you'll come across a nice set of tires and wheels that you're like, oh, wow. Those are perfect for what I'm trying to do. And they are. Now you can see my chassis, how it sags there. That gives me my stance I want. But I got all 4 tires touching too. Now I can heat this back up and take a little of this curve out of it. depending on how it fits in my body, which we're going to try out here. I want you guys to be able to see this. And the tires and wheels also made me come up with the color scheme for this. So, you know, people talk about how you get inspired by a certain thing, and this is how I get inspired by it. Now, this is where I'll have to heat it back up. So you see my frame sags below, and I lose it here. Now the interior's not in here. Sorry, I'm talking fast. You get the interior in there, and that's pretty much where it's going to sit. But you see how I get that ride height right here? You can't just achieve it with the plastic kit. You're going to have to learn how to modify and make things happen to do this kind of detail. And I'll be glad to share that knowledge with anybody that would want to know. It's kind of hard to take the time to do it on here, and then people complain your videos are too long, which mine always are. So I apologize in advance. But see how it's got that perfect stance. I sit on the table, all 4 tires are touching. My desk is a little wonky, and everything's not set in stone yet. We got the interior's not in it, so everything's not just sitting exactly right like it should. But we will get it there, and then when we do, we'll get this in there. I'll heat it up across here, front to back, and across this way, and then I will push this down where I want it to be, and that'll take care of it, or as close as I can get it. It never works out perfect for me. So I say, guys, none of my builds are perfect, but look at this, the width of those tires. That's Pro Touring. That size in the back and in the front, the wide tires in the front, that car's going to handle like it's on rails. Now, this is a 2-stage Pro Touring. This is where I was talking about different categories. I'm running a stock engine. Now, this is a built engine, or it's what we're calling it. Remember, guys, we get to play a little bit here. We get to use our imagination and create a story behind the build. The guy spent all of his money so far on the paint job, the interior, the frame, the chassis and suspension, the tires and wheels. He has not yet been able to afford that big LS motor to complete the build and drop in it. But he is running a built 409 that was originally in the car. It runs really good, and it'll last him a couple years until he can save his pennies and buy that big LS to put in there. It's a good little story to back up the model car or your build. Let me know what you think about that. Do you do that when you build something? You create a little story behind it? That little story inspires me to build the model. As where I was in Hobby Lobby, I'm staring and I see these tires and wheels. I'm like, these are already painted. That black and that orange. Oh my God. What can I do? Can I use those on a plastic model? Well, you know what? I'm going to buy them. Now, the Foos kit stood out to me right away. I don't know why, I just did. Easy to probably 2-tone, 3-tone. As we're in this, it's basically 2-tone, but 3-tone. How can we do? Well, what are we going to do? I don't want orange and black. That's too much. What if we did orange and silver? Those 2 colors would go together, and we'll define, or split the colors with a pinstripe. Well, that's where my mistake was made. I used actual pinstriping. It was a little too thick, created ridges. Clear coat started chipping off, peeling off. When it did, it peeled off paint, peeled off a couple of decals. It made it a wreck. So what did I do? You guys are seeing it now. Using the proper tape, paying the extra pennies, getting good quality tape, you get it for a reason. It's because you end up with nice straight edges. You guys see those? It's hard. My camera's not focusing. Sorry for that. But you get nice paint edges. Now you can see that's primer in between the 2 colors. Okay? That's going to be black. That's my pinstripe. Instead of using pinstriping, I'm going to airbrush the pinstripes. So now I'll have to mask off the lower half and the upper half to achieve that mask line. And then I'll wet sand it all down like we all would do. Clear coat it. Well, I got all new decals to put on it. And then I'll get it in clear coat. And then we can start the final assembly. Our tires and wheels are done. Let me get this out of here real quick. We'll talk about this real quick. I had to completely modify the suspension. This has future attractions, coilovers, the real metal ones. Like I said, they will function if you cut the center pin down a little bit and give it room to, but you force down a plastic model, you're going to break something eventually. So I always glue everything in place. We modified the kit's upper and lower control arms into like a 4-link. We used the kit's dog link, and we painted it red just to make it stand out. But we got all that detail in there. Now I had to cut my openings for the upper control arms in the back to allow them a little bit of angle to go in there, so my drive shaft would meet, and I could get my ride height. I had to scratch build wheel wells. These are not in the model kit. We added all these frame rails you see here. All down in here, we reworked this whole frame. I carved it all out, the kit, and I added the pieces in to create a new frame. That let me mini tub it. I ain't really mini tub it, basically full tubbed, to fit these big tires in there. And these are some nice tires. They're highly detailed. I put the Foose decal in the center. This is a car that Chip Foose would have designed and worked on. Maybe, not, but that's what I'm saying. It's mine. I'm allowed to do it. And we got everything. We adjusted the front suspension to let the tires sit all the way to the top of the wheel wells. Now in real life, it'd rub like hell and it would be crap, but it's a model. It doesn't really move. It doesn't drive anywhere. And it helps me make it look the part. It gets my stance the way I want it, that low and mean look. And, eventually one day he'll have that big LS in there and be pushing 1,400 horsepower, and this car's already built and ready for it. Just got to be done. So with a little imagination and a little perseverance and I got to glue that down. Didn't glue that yet. You can achieve this. And that's the brakes that came with the Maisto car. I think it was a Camaro. And it was orange, and this orange around the wheels is not really truly orange. So I was like, so I went on Splash's website, I saw this, and it matches that color perfect. This is Katsura Orange by Splash Paints. There's a name. Is there a number I can put up here? Yeah, right there. There you go. SP 105, is that correct? Let me put can't see nothing. Yes, SP 105, Katsura Orange. This is a beautiful color. If you use a base of like gold, it changes the whole game on it. If you use a black base, changes the whole appearance of it. And a silver base, you can vary this color use it the way it is and 3 other ways and get 4 different shades of this color that are all magnificent. But it came out just like I had it before. If you guys remember the video where I showed this and explained what went wrong, it was up here, pinstriping. The clear coat came off and it ate into this decal, and it chipped the paint away up here, and it pulled the paint away down here. It was just a train wreck. So I put it away. I was like, okay, I got just enough paint to do this and have touch-ups for down the road. And I still match that lip around the wheel. I get that true Pro Touring look. And, do we do a bigger engine now? We're finishing this one up. No, I can add a little detail to this. We'll just call it a built 409, and this is the last thing he's got to do to the car. So I don't have to worry about modifying anything more to try to fit down in here. I want to get this done. Remember, this whole goal, get things done that we started and didn't finish. The silver and it puddled and pooled the other silver I used, and it looked like crap. So that was the second phase of disaster. But we got that. We just sanded the whole body down and started over, reprimed it. This is Galactic Silver, gray primer underneath the whole car, and this is that 2-way tape I was telling you guys about. I showed you. That stuff, it was like $3, I think, for that. $2, something like that. That part I'm going 90 miles an hour. That thing is not coming off, but it peels right off without, Does it take the paint off? Let's see. Peel the stick off first. Now I'm going to pull this away gently and slowly. No. That's acrylic. Didn't peel the paint off. Didn't peel the silver off. So, is it safe to use? Yeah. Now, would it ever? Yeah, very well possibly could pull your paint off. So, be mindful of where you put it and stick your part to it. That, you know, it's on something that you can redo. This has not been clear coated. So, this is still raw acrylic paint, but it's been dried for years and sanded down. So, it's smooth. There's nothing bulky for it to grab hold of and pull away. But, you know, I'll have to repaint the liner underneath the hood now. No big deal. But I got a nice silver finish on that, what I was looking for. Now, when it comes to silvers and heavy metallics, I don't wet sand. I'll thin my paint down as I go to get it to lay as flat as possible. Now, if I get a little little debris in it, then I will sand the whole item down and put another coat or two of paint on it just to get it all true again. Because I've noticed after sanding this, sometimes, and then you clear coat it, it'll show through for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm not an expert on paint either. So, but now we got a nice finish. Hopefully the black doesn't get screwed up. That'll be the next video of me showing the black stripe on there, all the decals, it being clear coated, and that'll be right before final assembly. And then we'll do a quick video on final assembly. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is there flaws in this? Yes, there is. It's not perfect. Is it show quality? No. Shelf quality? Yes. Inspiration quality? Yes. I hope it inspires you to do something like that. Go find you a die-cast kit that's one of those 2-in-1s. You get a couple tire options, the seats in them. There we go. Forgot to talk about that. Here's the interior. These are the seats out of that die-cast. Roll cages from another kit. All custom painted, hand painted, by the way. Can you tell? Yeah, you absolutely can tell on this one. But we got that custom leather interior. The roll cage has been covered in the material to match. The headliner in the car will be too. Got all of our decals and detail on the dash painted and down on the console. You know, turned out nice. Perfect? No. Turned out nice? Yes. How's it look in the car? Well, let's take a gander real quick, and then we're going to move on to our final topic, and this is going to require participation out of you. So I hope everybody's not so pissed off at me now that they are not going to leave a comment, a positive comment. I won't tolerate bullshit. And yeah, it fits in there perfect. Plenty of headroom. Roll cage actually could have been taller, but you know, it's just an idea, and I'm bringing it to life. That's what it's all about, guys. Having an idea does it have to be great? No, it's an idea. It's what inspires you, and then you bring it to life. A quick 10-minute thought popped in my head at a big chain store. It had the things there that inspired me to do it. Here it is, my inspiration brought to life with a little creativity and imagination along the way. And this is why I do it, guys. This is why I do it for me. This is why I do it for my YouTube channel. Is that I hope that other like-minded people can see what I see, and it inspires them to do it. And if you need help, I don't care after I'm done on this channel or not. Reach out to me. My email is in damn near every one of my videos at the bottom. Email me. Ask me anything. If you need help on something, what's the best way to do it? In my perspective, I will share every bit of that knowledge for you. And I'm not going to ask anything in return from you to give it to you. Because I got mine free. Why would I charge you for my knowledge? That's why YouTube's free, if you think about it. So, enough about that. You can let me know what you think about the Impala. Remember, it's the Foose kit, the 65 Chevy Impala. A lot of great parts in this kit. If you don't want to build the kit and you want to scrap it for parts, there's air conditioning parts. There's, a whole lot of other stuff in here that can be used in other builds that are great. The console would work great in other cars. The steering wheel, the master cylinder is very, very unique for that era. If you're looking for a 65 master cylinder, that is very representation of the 65. uh, and other things. Just you're creative. You don't have to just use what comes in the box. It's nice to do that every once in a while. It gives you a nice break. But you can use parts from all other boxes and come up with something great. So let me know what you think about that. Now, we're going to lead into this. Because of all the comments on the last video, that's not what I was expecting. I appreciate everybody's nice and sincere comments. I appreciate the negativity. And I apologize for this video, but please watch it so you get to this point. Even if you fast forward, get to this point. I've been thinking about it, and it's, I don't know, it's an idea. Will it ever come to head? I don't know. Depends on you. So to speak of podcasts, I've been thinking about doing a podcast. Model related. The difference in this podcast will be we will be spotlighting all modelers that want to participate. The way you participate is you ask. If you're a modeler and you've got something to share, whether it's a build or some knowledge, send me an email. This will require me to have your phone number. Hope that's not a problem. That way I can communicate with you, and we can set up days and times, because I don't know how good this will be, if it'll even take off from the ground level. I'm not excluding anybody. Now, would we ever get somebody like Lucas C to come on our channel, or Matthew at Model Car Videos? Probably not. I think I've pissed all those people off. Jason at Blue Ox. I would like to have Jason on. I like Jason. I like what Jason does. I don't think he's part of the problem. I think he could be better, because he is a very good person, and he always strives to do better. So I think he could do better. I could do better. So I'm not calling him out. But would I have Jason on? Yeah, I'd have anybody on this willing to come on and share their thoughts and opinions on modeling. And this would be designed and set for people that want to learn what paints to use, how to use them, glues, tools, model kits that we think are great. This will be a not just me thing. Several people are on board with this, and I think a couple more will come on board. I won't mention any names yet, but this is for the guy. I think we're going to call it the Average Modeling Joe podcast. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I want words. I want people to speak. Is this something you would want? Is this something you'd be interested in? That you would entertain your time and watch it and share it with other people? And nobody is too good or too new to be on this podcast. I'm not worried about the inner circle of, everybody has the same sponsors and they use all the same products and they're all on the same podcast, and yeah, they invite people on, but it's people, here's an example. Who, if he was still alive, who wouldn't want Don Yost to come on their little podcast or their little YouTube channel as a guest and talk? I don't think there's a modeler that wouldn't, except for some people that really didn't like him, which, that's their problem. But who doesn't want that? So yeah, the Lucas C's and the BGs and the Mr. BG. He's the one that sent a kit for that diorama. That will get built. That is the solemn promise. And will I do an update video on that? Yes, I will. My diorama. After I'm thinking about it, I put a lot of work into that, and a lot of other people put work into that and sent a lot of stuff free to me for that. So yes, that will be documented on YouTube on this channel video. Now, if this comes to head and we get a good feedback from all you guys on this little podcast thing, we will get it organized and set up, and then I'll do a video and we'll share the link. That way you know where to go. You can subscribe to it. Same thing, you like, subscribe, you share it. If you don't like it, you're more than welcome to move on. If you're a modeler, you're just a beginner, and you got a zillion questions, guess what? You get to come on this podcast, get to ask your zillion questions. Well, we're going to try to set a time frame. And it'll be once a week, more towards the evening time. And you get to ask all your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. And the community out there, you get to do your best at answering these questions for these new modelers. Male, female, does not matter. Age does not matter. Will the channel be age appropriate? No, because not everybody can hold back a cuss word from time to time, so we don't want to get dinged for, allowing children. But as a parent, if you want your child to watch it knowing that a cuss word may slip from time to time. We apologize in advance, but, you let your children watch with your supervision. I see nothing wrong with that. Is it to become rich and famous? No. This is a way to let people that feel like they're not welcomed or a part of something, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You're welcome on this podcast. So let me know down in the comments what you think about that. True hard feelings, guys. Don't be negative, but don't hold back. I'm not singling anybody out. Anybody is welcome on this podcast. Even Lucas C. I've always wanted to be in an interview session with Lucas C. I had a zillion questions for that man. Positive things, not negative, but positive. I had a zillion questions for him. I find him very interesting. I wish he would actually finish a build. But what, he's one person that got me really into this. Chevy Cheeseburger, another big influencer that got me really, old Fred Henry. And quite a few others. And, so, yeah, it's open to anybody and everybody. There'll be a title. We'll call, when we do have an actual live guest, it'll be a spotlight to that one person, no matter how famous or infamous you are. You are important to us. You're important to this community. Sponsors, right? If they come along, they come along. If they don't, but we will spotlight companies that we find that we like their products. This will be quite a few variations in perspective, not just mine, not just Rusty Rotors, and not just the other people's, but a trifecta of, maybe even a quadfecta of perspective on things. This is not designed to bash people. We won't do that. I'm not calling anybody out on it. I'm not using it as a platform to be negative. This is all positive. This is to promote our hobby as a whole to everyone, male, female, black, white, Christian, Muslim, devil worshiper. I don't care. We're not worried about all that. We're worried about modeling. Do you want to build a model car? Or do you want to build a Gundam? Do you want to build a model airplane or a boat? That's what it's for. I'm not big on boats, but it's still modeling at the end of the day, so I can show you some techniques and tips and tricks that my dad showed me 53 years ago that I use every day in my modeling. And other friends I've known that build ships, that build airplanes, tanks, whatever your niche is, that's what this podcast will be for. So it'll probably be broken up into a few categories each week, I would say. A spotlight on a certain product. That's just my thought train so far, guys and girls. An individual. Some random talk. Just about modeling. So we kind of cover what everybody's looking for. And if a sponsor comes along and wants to be, partake in that, then that, we will set up a little few-minute window to discuss that product from that person and where you can go to get it. That kind of covers all the bases. Products that we use, knowledge that we have, people that are trying to become a modeler, and a person that's, wants to share their views and opinions and knowledge of modeling on there. So that's it, guys. Sorry for the rant at the beginning. I just wanted to clarify. If it did, it may not have. Sorry either way, I guess. That video probably killed my any future dwellings in any model show or modeling club. So be it. I've been a loner all my life, so you're not really hurting me in any way. I'll still build my model cars. I'll still set them on the table if I go to a show, if that's what they're built for. If they win, they win. They don't, they don't. It's the other thing. I can want to win all I want. Will I win? My expectations are already very low before I walk through the door. That's just me. Do I have self-esteem issues? Yeah, probably. No different. I'm human. So, if you guys can relate to any of this that I've spouted off in these past 3 videos, the one about JI passing, the first update on the tribute build, and then this one, leave it down below. We got 2 more videos. Jay's tribute build will be, it'll kind of be a 2-part video. It'll be the right before it's ready for final assembly, and then the final assembly, all in one video. So there'll be 2 more videos, guys. This was the 3rd. I said 3. And as far as for a while, until we get back on Ring Brothers and we get onto the diorama. And then I'll start making videos on that, only because I feel it's owed to the people that put in the hard work, as I have, to create that masterpiece up there, which in my eyes it is. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I've had people here in my shop and seen it in person, and they're drooling. And that's a compliment. Like, wow, they really liked it. I didn't think it's that great. It's okay, but so, that's why I do it. Let me know, guys. You have a great rest of your week, and I will no longer be saying hello, what we're on right now, modeling, what it's supposed to be. It'll be hello, boys and girls. So, new catchphrase. I hope you guys understand. I truly do. And I'll say it one more time, and we're out of here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the people that have been with me from the beginning to the present time. I don't want you to be upset and mad. You can still get a hold of me via email, or if you know me, you've had my phone number for years now. Call me. Shoot over to Instagram. You'll see stuff that I'm building. I'll be posting it there. I just thought I could get a lot bigger than Instagram, and it's just clearly not going to happen. But that's okay. I'm good. I'm good with it all. I'm not mad at any one in particular person. These videos weren't designed to single out any one particular person. It's us as a whole, each and every one of us, not just certain people. And that's why I think it got a little misconstrued. So, again, thank you guys. And I look forward to your comments, your emails. Don't send the emails yet about being on the podcast. Just we're looking to see how much interest there is in it. And I'll mention that on each of the last 2 videos about it. So for people that may just tune in for the first time or what have you, will hear about it. And then you guys can share it. And, will it ruffle some more feathers? Probably. Oh, well. That's their oats to sow, so to speak, I guess. They get to have their opinion. I'm not ever denying that. So, this is Rusty Rotor. I'm out.